So, after the patch yesterday, we actually got another secret interview with CMC on a PC Gamer article, and that revealed the fact that we are actually going to be getting a daily post on the Guild Wars 2 blog talking about all of the new weapons that are being added to the game, and a live stream as well. There's going to be a live stream on the 27th, the day before, not only the next balance patch, but also the weapon beta that's happening also on the 28th. There's going to be a live stream going over all of the new weapons, talking about all that. So, loads of news over the next kind of week and a little bit, and of course, big news there. Really exciting live stream. I always love to see a live stream. It's going to be featuring CMC. It's going to be featuring Trig. And, of course, featuring Roy, Nodemaster, Marks as well, I'm sure. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But anyway, that's the little preamble, the little explanation of what's going on here exactly. So obviously stay tuned for more, by the way. Subscribe. But anyway, let's do it. Let's talk about what's going on here, guys. Become a force of nature with the dual-wielding Mace Ranger. So yeah, that is going to be Mace, main hand and offhand for our Ranger. And this is an article, okay, from Taylor Brooks, a.k.a. Trig as well. Very exciting stuff. Okay, so we've got a brand new article writer and some brand new weapons. So let's go ahead and get into it. Expanded weapon proficiencies are coming in the 2024. During the second major update for Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure. Each profession will have access to new weapon and skills to utilize against the evils of Tyria. Today I'll be introducing the Ranger's new weapon set, Dual Maces. Wielding maces will allow you to become a warden of nature, tapping into the power of the land to support your allies while pummeling your enemies. You'll be able to try out these new skills during our expanded weapon proficiency beta test starting on November 28th. So, first of all, let's just go ahead and take a look at what they actually look like. They actually have a little bit of a little mini video showcase here, showing off some of the new skills. So there's this leap attack, you've got some nature coming all over the place. Might even be like a rollback, almost a little bit like Old Sword, which is kind of an interesting one. This animation, by the way, is confirmed new, which is actually pretty cool. This is a brand new animation. I definitely like the look of this. Some kind of pummeling ability where you just, like, smash. I think this is very likely to be Mace offhand. A lot of abilities that have this kind of long-channeled animation are often in the offhand. Not saying that's for sure, though. That isn't confirmed, but that's likely to be the case. Whereas I think some of the more, like, leap-oriented skills, like this stuff, this is more likely to be the main hand Mace. There as well. But let's get into what these actually do. So, main hand mace and offhand mace are sibling weapons that cover different roles while also synergizing very well together. Main hand mace has a strong supportive capabilities through healing and boons. As you strike enemies with mace skills, you'll bolster your bond with land, getting a new effect called Nature's Strength. So this weapon set also has kind of a theme attached to it, right? Like it has this overriding mechanic that will not only link the weapons, but it will of course work on its own too. So, you gain a stacking buff that once you get 6 stacks of Nature Strength, the land will grant you its favor, and you'll gain another effect called Force of Nature. Force of Nature will reset your mace cooldowns as you grow large. That's pretty fun, right? Increasing your outgoing damage, healing, and stability. So, pretty wide effect. This will work on a lot of different builds. This is definitely a pretty versatile weapon set, for sure, especially the main hand, and we'll see that here as well. Very versatile on this main hand. In just a moment. But yeah, damage, healing, and stability. So it's going to be good for some kind of build that wants to do damage, good for a build that wants to heal, and it will also give you stability, which is a generally good boon. I think, well, we'll get into exactly how we might actually see that manifest in just a moment. So here's a look at a couple of the Ranger's Mace skills. Mace skill 2 is called Flourish, which damages enemies and heals allies simultaneously. Your strike causes the ground beneath you to swell with energy, and after a delay, the ground will burst. The burst deals heavier damage and heals more than the initial strike. If you hit an enemy with the initial strike, you'll gain Nature Strength, which I'll describe below. Oh, wait. I'll describe above. Look at that, guys. That is just, you hate to see that. Offhand Mace is a more defensive weapon that enhances survivability, while also providing some crowd control. Thistle Guard, Mace skill 4, is a defensive skill that rewards careful timing in the thick of combat. You cover yourself in bramble armor, gaining barrier and stability for a moment as thorns strike outwards. Hitting an enemy with these thorns will increase the defensive components of the skill while also granting you Nature Strength. Pretty cool stuff. So again, that is another way to generate that, and also more defensive skill, and maybe the 5th skill is going to be kind of a bit of a CC skill. At the same time there. So, where is this going to happen? Well, number one, the Mace main hand is going to have healing and boons. This is a very natural shoe-in for a Druid build, Druid healing build. For example, because right now your main hand isn't bad. Like, Axe main hand is not horrible. You have a bit of utility there with Winter's Bite. You know, you can do a little bit of damage in range. You can chill stuff. You can slow stuff down, apply weakness, bit of CC, all that kind of good stuff. So not horrible, but, you know, not exactly a proper support weapon. This is very likely going to be a pretty go-to pick in a lot of situations for your heal Druid builds. And Druid is already really good, so Druid's going to be even better. Because bear in mind, you're going to get that healing modifier. That's going to be really good, and personal stability. And personal stability is honestly never bad. Plenty of situations in PvE where you want to not get CC'd. For example, while you're also healing. And of course, again, I do think this is a weapon that, of course, depending on tuning, could really see some potential in PvP. Like, Ranger has often had some pretty solid duelist builds. These days, it's more of a roaming playstyle, right? That kind of zips around the map and, like, one-shot stuff. But there's plenty of potential to actually have a lot of 1v1 potential, too. And now that you're going to have even more stability access, like, Ranger already has, like, a decent amount of stability access, and ways to deal with crowd control in PvP, but now that you're also going to be throwing in quite a bit more stability, there's going to be some stability on the offhand. There's going to be stability from Force of Nature as well. There's going to be boon access that might be some kind of sustain. It's going to be very potent, I think. Big potential to kind of bring this kind of 1v1 style of Ranger back, I think, in PvP, which again is not really where it's at right now, but it could definitely happen, that's for sure as well. Another thing I think that this has some, and this might even be semi-targeted at, is actually Heal Untamed. Because bear in mind, Untamed is going to get an extra skill. You're going to get these weapon skills, like the 5 weapon skills, but Untamed gets an extra one. You have the ambush component of this. And I think this could end up very much enabling Heal Untamed. You know, we speak about this quite a lot, right? Like, Heal Untamed is a build that's kind of, it just needs a little extra something, then it's going to be a proper full build for players to play in PvE, at least. And I think this could potentially be that. You're going to have more output from that Mace. You're going to have more boon access. It will be a little bit spooky if we get some stability on a main hand weapon AoE. I think that's actually somewhat unlikely, pretty unlikely, I think, but definitely could happen. I wouldn't, you know, maybe a little bit of experimental meme getting in there for the Untamed there. Because, of course, right now you run Staff, because you don't really have another weapon to run on Heal Untamed that would really do anything that well. Like, you really want that Staff Unleash skill. But there's maybe some potential if the Unleash skill for Mace is really, really powerful. That then, of course, lets you run Warhorn too, which Untamed would love to have as a weapon there. And just, like, broadening the boon axis of that Heal Untamed build could end up being really, really good, I think, overall. So certainly an interesting weapon set. As you can see here, Maces have a fun, versatile kit that can be used with many different playstyles. I'm excited to see how they can be used with existing builds such as Support Druid, or how they can lead to entirely new archetypes, like a Bruiser that defeats their enemies in the moment of power. So as you can see here, ArenaNet, I think we're kind of on the same page. So the fact that they're saying this, it's like, yeah, I think we're kind of reading their intention. We're kind of seeing what they want to do with this. And I think the design they've talked about here, some of these abilities they talked about here, definitely kind of lean into, or like kind of imply that this is the direction where it's going to go. I think it is really cool that it's going to have this little mini mechanic. I like that you can kind of like charge up your maces in a way for a bonus. Like, you build a resource, then you spend it. I think that's kind of a cool mechanic to play with. We've seen them do this on a couple of relics as well. And I think this type of mechanic can feel really rewarding and really fun when you use it correctly, because you build it up, then bam, like you whack people. A lot of combo potential. You know, in PvP, I could imagine like a Mace, a greatsword build that builds up its nature strength, activates it, you got stability, and then boom, like whack them with the greatsword or something like that, or whack them with the hammer, right? And just have that really big combo. Like, line up at nature strength, land a CC combo, right, with your Mace, swap over your other set, and smash stuff, right, and really go crazy. And Rangers always had this kind of combo-oriented style. Like, greatsword already leans into this a little bit in PvP, for example. Like, you know, you want to hilt bash people, you maul them, right? Like, you maul, hilt bash, maul, right? All that kind of stuff. So you already have this kind of combo style that exists, and this will probably kind of lean into that even more. And again, the kind of stuff we're talking about here, like you get barrier, more barrier if you prod people with your thorns as well, stability, it's high sustain, you've got some healing as well on the main hand, right? Like all this kind of good stuff. That play style can definitely be very developed, actually, I think. By this. So you have that other really solid melee option for your Ranger build overall. I think the one thing that could be interesting here is how much damage it's going to do in PvE. It's going to be very interesting. if this could actually work out well on some of the more like aggressive ranger builds as well, maybe like a quickness untamed, for example, and give that more boon access, because boon access is the name of the game when it comes to a lot of these supported builds in PvE. So leaning into that with a weapon is very exciting. And you know, of course, this is the first post that we're talking about here, and I think that's worth kind of talking about some general thoughts here. These weapons, this seems to be pretty high power level, or it seems to be like a pretty high strength, high design weapon. So it looks like a lot of the weapons that we might be seeing added are going to be pretty damn high impact. I think I think they're making these weapons very intentionally to do something. It's like, okay, we want to make a build. We don't just want to go like, oh, look, you know, you can use a mace now. Isn't that cool? It's like, no. You can use a mace, you can use a pistol now, you can use a rifle, and it's going to do something. We are looking to enable more playstyles. And push them pretty aggressively even. Like, we want you to actually be doing this. Is that power creep? I'm not gonna lie, yes. Does Druid need to be better than it is right now? No. However, I think there can be tuning in other places, right? I think that just because one build is overperforming doesn't mean that other things, you shouldn't try to enable other playstyles, right? Like enabling stuff like Heal Untamed, like enabling more build possibilities and role possibilities in PvP. Like, if this makes Druid too good, then we can go ahead and nerf it down a little bit, right? Okay, no problem. Right, of course, everything can use this weapon, so they do have to be careful. And one slight thing that I am a little bit hesitant about is the fact that this is a hybrid weapon. I think hybrid weapons are something that ArenaNet do need to be careful of, because a lot of the time they can kind of take over the meta, right? Like, especially if it's just good at everything. Like, Elementalist Warhorn, for example, can be a bit of a balanced nightmare if it does everything really, really well. So I think we have to be a little bit careful to make sure that the weapons don't just completely dominate like every build simultaneously if they're super, super hybridy and super, super good in every situation. But I imagine this will not be the case with all classes. I think that some classes will have a more focused weapon, right? And other classes might have something that has a little bit more flexibility so that it can be used in a number of different situations, right? That's it's interesting. I will slightly complain here as well as we get to the end of this post. It would have been really nice to actually know what every single one of the skills do, whereas here we only know Mace 2 and Mace 4, so we don't know what the auto attack is, we don't know what Mace 3 is or what Mace 5 is, so that would have been nice, but again, that is a lot of skills to go over, I suppose. So I'll give them that. And of course, we will get to see all of it, not only in the test, but also in the preview live stream. Wow, very exciting. Definitely get ready for that, guys. Get ready for that preview live stream. And get ready for your support drill. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with these. And a little bit of extra news here, actually. I forgot to mention this at the start. But spoiler alert, Rifle Mesmer and Support Staff for Warrior are now confirmed. They're both support weapons. This was also in the PC Gamer article. We'll link that in the description of this video, of course, if you want to have a little read there. Bit of an interview with the man, CMC himself, Balance Overlord for Guild Wars 2. But yeah, really exciting stuff. I think that I'm liking where this is going. I think it will hopefully be very impactful, right? You know, I think that sometimes now that we don't have elite specializations being added to the game, it is really important that updates like this are big. You know, like this is basically elite specs. This is the replacement, like adding new skills to the game, like adding new weapons, or maybe utility skills, maybe a core trait line, reworking stuff, right? Like relics, all this stuff. This is what's replacing elite specializations. So they do need to go pretty hard on this to really make sure that it's going to be a thing that is going to impact what you're doing, hopefully in all of the game modes simultaneously. But anyway, that is going to be about it. A little bit of a quick one. And of course, stay tuned, gamers. There's going to be one of these every day, so that means it's going to be one video every day, you lucky devils, okay? You got a content overload here, okay? I'll read the posts for you. That's what I'm here for. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this little breakdown, little showcase here. Wow, look at this handsome devil. Like, why this outfit? It's one of the weirdest outfits in the game. I've always felt it's like, what is this? That's a good Mesa. It's one of my favorite Mace skins, actually. It's from the World vs. It used to be unobtainable, right? It was from like the World vs. World tournament thingy, but now they kind of unleashed it again. Pretty good with the dual Maces and the bear. I like how the bear is actually more important than the character. Or the bear is like full in the middle, like taking up all the space. The ranger is like the secondary character there, just irrelevant. Nobody cares about you. But anyway, that is basically going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Are you hyped about Mace Ranger? What weapon are you most excited about? You ready for that Rifle Mesmer? Pistol Elementalist? Ha! You guys are never getting Longbow. But anyway, that really is it. You should like the video. You should leave a comment. You should subscribe. And come back. Look, you're going to need the bell. You're going to need to hit the bell, guys, to get those notifications so you can see the daily upload. But anyway, that's it, gamers. Thanks for watching. I'm out of here.